Good morning, everybody. In true Russ fashion, I literally just finished getting prepped for this morning's live because I had no idea what I was going to do. And this morning was Saturday Sampler, so I said, let me do the Saturday Sampler block. So I Saturday Sampler went a little bit longer than normal, which, it's supposed to go that long, up to that long. That didn't bother me. But yeah, I grabbed breakfast on the way home. I tried to quickly eat breakfast and came in here and was like, ooh, I need to get things cut, need to get things cut, need to get things cut, need to get things cut. Managed to get everything cut. Thought I had everything cut, was missing one piece. So that's why I am here rushing. You may see a little sweat on my brow. It's not ladylike to sweat, but I get it. It is a gorgeous day here in Metro Atlanta. And by gorgeous, it means it's perfect for sewing because it's kind of drizzly, rainy. Some might even say moist. And yeah, it's going to be a day. Poor Riley is going to be a little miserable because I'm going to make her go out for her walks and all of that. So I changed the card, the YouTube card, literally like 10 minutes ago. So if you joined before I changed the card, it may have said Mystery Project. Now it says Saturday Sampler. So I am going to be working on the Saturday Sampler block. I did all the maths on the way here. Got it figured out, and it looks like I have everything cut right now. So I have in the description a similar block to the one that we are doing because I can't give you these instructions that we have, but I can go out there onto the internets, find a free pattern, and let y'all follow along. And that's what I have been doing with this entire Saturday Sampler program because quilt blocks aren't new. These are not new things. And if I can find something to let you guys sew along with me, if you want to, you are awesome too. The block, according to the instructions, is called Brass, which I think they just named each one something different. And it looks to be the Arizona block. So that is what I have linked below is the Arizona block. I think the link that I gave is exactly the same as this one is. Let me see if I can quickly find it again. It's that one. And yes, it looks like it's pieced exactly the same. It's just they have different colors. I have different colors. It's all choose your own adventure. Don't know how much fabric you need for the entire quilt. Don't know how much fabric you need for anything. So I think is a good scrap quilt because that's what Saturday Sampler is supposed to be, is to help use up your scraps. So let's see who we have in here. Good morning, Jeannie, who, was firsties. Good morning, Stephanie. I loved your announcement yesterday. That was awesome. And I forget who ended up getting what I had won because I said, give it off to somebody else. I don't necessarily need more kits right now to add to my stuff. And, I'm a moderator for her. So I'm like, I don't need to be getting freebies from her because she's awesome enough as it is. Good morning, Tessa and Tamala. Melissa, hello. Tessa says they have thunderstorms there wherever there is. Good morning, Elaine, who says good morning, Russ, and hi all. Good morning, Josie from North Carolina. Elaine does say it's a perfect sewing day. Yes. Good morning, Katie Crass, and good morning, Karen. Tamala, I gifted it to you. Awesome. So I have all my pieces cut. They're in no particular order because like I said, I was rushing to get these cut. And then some of them were a little wrinkly because they're not giving us all the fabrics this time every month because they're giving us fat eighths. And then they're saying, you got to reuse from a previous month the stuff because it makes perfect sense. I do not expect to be given 5 different Fat 8s every month for the price that they give a Saturday sampler for. So I was hunting actually for this fabric because I had to get everything cut, and like I said, I was rushing it, and to get that fabric found, it was with the first pile of fabric that I went. It was just hiding in the middle. So yeah, I'm just slightly kerfluffled. Tessa says southern Georgia is where the thunderstorms are. So I wonder if we are going to be getting any. I know my smart speaker said it was going to be rainy most of the day. I think it said until 9 p.m. Or maybe it said like, I don't know. Either way, like I said, I will drag Riley around the neighborhood because she doesn't like going out in the rain. I don't know why. Half the time she'll go, half the time she won't, but it'll be good. Yvette, good morning, says there's thunderstorms there in Pensacola, Florida. Thunderstorms are fun as long as you're not doing anything electrical, because electricity and thunderstorms do not mix. Pardon me? I have no idea where I put my glue dots. I thought I had them right here. Well, it's a good thing I don't need my glue dots for triangulations. It's just really a nice to have. I saw them like yesterday, and usually they're hiding underneath my quilting table, but they're not. I must have put them away, slid them off to the side. I don't know. Either way, make Riley has a raincoat. She doesn't like wearing it. I think when the rain pitter patters on the top of the raincoat, it kind of, makes noises and could bother her ears or something like that. I don't know exactly the technical terms, but I will say she doesn't like it. Good morning, Janice, who says hi, Russ, and everybody else. And good morning, Terry. So let me switch to my sewing setup cam. I need to lower my stitch length, turn on my laser. And normally, I end up using glue dots to tack down my triangulations paper. But like I said, you don't really need it. And because I don't have it glue dotted down, I'm going to start in the center. And I have my stitch length lowered because this is still technically a type of foundation paper piecing, as my friend Shannon of Slay Arts, the FPP expert, comes in. And because you want to rip the papers out, you need your stitch length to be a little bit smaller than normal. And my machine is not happy for some reason. And it did 0 stitches. If all else fails, rethread. Everything was working the last time I used it, which was yesterday. So I don't know what would have made it unhappy. Whatever, yes, I checked it. And then I'm going to reseat the bobbin. Everything sounded weird when I was stitching. You know that sound that you know when your sewing machine is not making the sound you expect. So I just did everything. Let's see, test stitches. That sounds right. I have no idea what happened. Let me just more stitches just so I can make sure. Okay, stitches look fine. Don't know what it was. Good morning, the Siberian wind. Melissa is listening while driving back from the trail run. As long as you are listening while driving and not, watching while driving, I can accept that. There we go. Take 2. So if y'all hadn't heard for some reason, Stephanie's announcement yesterday, you need to go watch her video on it. It was very exciting of an announcement. I think it's really cool too. But she had a really exciting announcement between her, Shannon, who's here in the chat, and our friend Steven of the Idiot Quilter, who I haven't seen in the chat yet. He might be lurking because I know he does that often. It kind of makes me want to go to the Berlin retreat, but based on the timing, I don't think I can go. That time of year is always rough for us, and especially with the projects that we have coming up. Like, I won't know until probably, January or February if I would be able to have attended it. And by then, it's sold out. So maybe I can get laid off, and then my next position would allow me to have better control over future dates like that and not be tied to certain calendars. Good morning, Kathy and Vicky. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Or, of course, the better option is not necessarily, getting laid off and get a better job. It's, to win the lottery so I don't have to have the job. But apparently you have to play the lottery in order to win the lottery. That's my problem. I keep forgetting to play. Good morning, and Quilt Fact, which I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. I have bad name memories. It's even funnier at work when I forget somebody's name. It happens so many times. I've had folks come into my cube, have a conversation with me, talk and everything. I help them out with stuff, and then I should check the size of these before I started. Yeah, they're right. Okay. Then I will end up going to one of my coworkers and say, "Hey, who was that?" And they're like, "That was so and so." I was like, "Okay." I just could not remember the name. Everybody knows I'm bad with names, but I can fake it until I make it with a name. Like, I have had conversations with people and they did not know that I did not know their name. And Miss In Quilt Fact is Debbie. I did not remember it. I saw it and I read it a second ago. So, so good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Sue Ellen. And good morning, Lorraine. Okay, let's see. 8, 11, 10, 9. It's pretty early for you, Lorraine. I mean, it's not, butt crack at dawn, but it's still early for my West Coast friends. I have a coworker friend in Burbank, and I have been yelled at for accidentally sending her messages before her 9 a.m. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting you're on a different time zone. Because a friend of mine, when he lived in Phoenix, he pretty much kept Eastern hours for whatever god awful reason. So I could text him at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he'd be all responsive and everything. But apparently, some other people, when they're on different time zones, get all annoyed that they get text at early morning. Katie Crass loves when you can see someone's badge and read their. That is the problem. Is not everybody keeps their badge on them in a way that you can read it. Most people, anytime that I am near them, their badge is upside down. Which is kind of why I like the visitor badges a little bit better. Because the visitor badges, they're stickers that are put on here, like the "Hello, my name is," and you can see them. You can most of the time read them from a little bit of a distance, and it was kind of funny because we had contractors in a few weeks back, and I just happened to we were in the elevator lobby, and I just happened to see her name badge, and I'm like, "Hey!" And I said her name, and she looks at me like, "Am I supposed to know you?" And then I introduced who I was, and she was all excited that she got to meet me because we had been in so many virtual meetings together that, and most of the time we didn't have our cameras on. So this was the first time that we had seen each other in person and got to say hi and meet each other. Okay, laying out my pieces. I'm missing one. How am I missing one? Where are you hiding? I'll find you in a minute. So first was half square triangles. Now is flying geese. And the flying geese is made with a background and one of our colors. Good morning, Charlene. Charlene, I'm sorry I haven't gotten your package out yet. It has been a crazy week. So part of what I am going to do when this live is over is hope that the post office is still open so I can run and drop a couple things off. So I will send you tracking when I get the tracking. Charlene won one of the giveaways when I had my 1,000 subscriber shindig a week ago. I'm slightly annoyed that I don't know what I did with my missing piece. If I can't find it quickly, then I can just run and cut one more piece because I have plenty of that fabric. And then, as soon as you cut that extra piece that you shouldn't need, you will find the piece that you lost. At Saturday Sampler this morning, they asked if anybody had a quilt in the East Cobb Quilt Show, which is coming up in 3 weeks. Which means I have I have 2 weeks to get my, what is that thing called? Sleeve on my quilt. And I raised my hand and said I do. And there was one other person there that had a quilt in the show. And a few minutes later, as we were doing show and tell, the shop owner, she asks, does anybody have anything in the quilt show? And I was like, that question was already asked. And yes, I do. They're asking what quilt I have, and I'm like, y'all have seen it because I did it at show and tell, but I'm not telling you which one is mine. You got to go see it yourself. And then the other person who had a quilt in the show, or has a quilt in the show, she asked me what category I entered in. I'm like, I think I just put piecing because the quilt wasn't made for a show. It was just added basically I'm adding a sleeve to a quilt that I made for basically me. No, I got to put the sleeve on. It already has a label, amazingly enough. My show and tell this morning was my show and tell this morning was the baby quilt that I just finished, and by just finished, the binding was completed yesterday. Like 5 minutes before Stephanie's live. So that was exciting. And the best part is it's got Tulip Pink Roar with the pterodactyls on the back. And I was like, look at the pterodactyls! And nobody can seem to find the pterodactyls. Sewing with Luane says that he had a good laugh yesterday when I made a comment about people tossing tomatoes at Steven with his quilting classes, quilting teaching. And I have no idea why I said that, but like the whole comedy stuff from back in the day, I guess when people did bring tomatoes and fruit and stuff to throw at people on a stage came to mind. I do not support throwing tomatoes at anybody. Karen is asking, what am I working on? I am working on the next Saturday sampler block. I do have, so I can't share this pattern with everybody, but I do have basically it's the exact same block. It's just somebody gave free directions as opposed to these other directions that if you want to work on a Saturday sampler of your own that kind of matches this, then you are welcome to. I'm going to be putting all of these lives in a playlist in order to let anybody have a peek and do whatever they want when they do it. Again, I have no idea the fabric requirements, so don't quote me on any of those. I just know that we have been given a handful of fat eighths, and we will get more fabric when we need fabric, and we will not be given more fabric when we don't need more fabric. I did not decide until literally while I was at Saturday Sampler to do this because I have nothing else that I had cut to work on. And of course at Saturday Sampler I can't get the fabric cut that I need to cut for the live. So I rushed home and got everything cut up that I wanted. Loane says that's where the whole Rotten Tomato moving rating scale came from. I kind of figured that. And Katie Kress says, unless it's money or fabric, then feel free to. I think you meant don't throw it unless. If it's money or fabric, feel free to throw that. I think that's what you meant. I did learn an interesting fact yesterday that most people don't care about, but I'm going to try to reiterate it the best I can remember. In 1980, I think it was 1980, there was a Popeye movie that came out. I believe that was the Robin Williams one, which I swear was later because I remember seeing it in the movie theater, unless that was a re-release or something. And video game company, I believe it might have been Nintendo, or it could have been one of those other developer companies, wanted to do a video game based off of Popeye. And specifically, it was going to be that cartoon episode where they're working in the skyscrapers and stuff, and Olive Oil is sleepwalking, and they're doing basically, Popeye's doing things to try to protect her from falling off of the girders and stuff. And there was this whole thing, and a video game developing company said, we got the idea for this, and this is what it's going to be. And the people who own the rights to Popeye said, yeah, no, not really. So that video game ended up being reskinned, and that's where we got the characters Jumpman and Donkey Kong from. It was originally going to be a Popeye video game, but they couldn't secure the rights for the Popeye character, and that's how we got Donkey Kong. For your useless trivia of the day. Janice has to depart us. She's going to catch the replay a little later. Well, thank you for joining us this little bit, Janice. Replays are better than no plays. Okay, let me put these down. I just realized I haven't even attempted to read these instructions to see how they want me to put it together. Okay, good. They want me to put it together the way I wanted to put it together. I've done so many of these Saturday Sampler programs that I can almost usually figure out the directions that the pattern wants me to do. Released in 1982 from King Enterprise. That was the name of the company, was King, yes. I saw it on... what is his name? He has scandal in his past with his YouTube channel with another YouTube company, or YouTube channel. But, yeah, he did a video yesterday on the Popeye video game, and I remembered playing the Popeye video game in the arcade and loving it for some reason. I think it was just basically what we can get the most out of our quarter for. Because I have played some of the games that I really loved playing in the arcade as an adult, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Specifically, Zookeeper. It's on like Popeye doesn't have the same ring. Imagine if we never got, Donkey Kong in a way like that. How much different our video game society would be. Good morning, Amy C. It has been a long time since I have seen or heard anything from you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm over here. I'm trimming my triangulations. I just realized you can't see what I'm doing. And you see me looking at something as I'm talking about Donkey Kong. When it was, I forget how long ago it was. I had my Nintendo Wii. So I was playing with my Nintendo Wii. I have to say it that way, otherwise it sounds inappropriate. And we were playing Donkey Kong, not Donkey Kong, Mario Party. And I made a comment about, back in the beginning, Donkey Kong was really, the bad guy. And then he became kidnapped, and we got Donkey Kong Jr. as the good guy and stuff like that. But in the later games, Donkey Kong became more of a fun character as opposed to a bad guy. And I ended up bringing back, like I was talking with a friend of mine about that, and I said one of my favorite lines from Wicked: the most celebrated are the rehabilitated. So basically, Donkey Kong was rehabilitated and became highly celebrated. And speaking of Wicked, if you haven't seen the latest trailer, please go look at it if you are anywhere near excited about the movie. Which, if you're anywhere near excited about the movie, you've probably already seen the trailer. Okay. While I'm missing my one piece, let me cut this real quick since I have this piece of fabric that it will fit from. I know the story of Wicked so well that as I watch the trailer, I'm like, really? They're putting this in the trailer? And I'm like, wait, they can't put anything that doesn't surprise me in the trailer. But assuming the first half ends where the first act ends in the musical, they're showing a lot of the end of the first movie in the trailers. So I'm hoping they're adding a little bit extra stuff, maybe some stuff from the books, maybe some stuff that they wanted to put in the movie or in the musical, but it just didn't fit. All I know is Thanksgiving can't get here soon enough. Diana says she loves the multicolored plaid. It is a really, like, the entire fabric line is awesome, but the multicolored plaid, especially with it being on the diagonal, I hope that's going to be the binding for the quilt. And if that's not what the shop intends to have the binding, I hope they will let me buy some fabric for the binding. Because I don't know if I will be able to find this fabric in another, let's see, 9 months. Because it's a 12-month program. This is month 3. Katie Krause is now singing Popular. I'm gonna be popular. Just not quite as popular as me. Yes, I know that's not the right rhythm. One thing I did not understand, and spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, Nessa Rose, Elphaba's sister, ends up being taken under the wing of Madame Morrible and staying in her suite room, whatever at Oz. And for some reason, that meant Elphaba had to room with Glinda, which that doesn't make sense because Elphaba and Nessa Rose were supposed to have a room together. So shouldn't that have meant that Elphaba should have just gotten a room by herself because Nessa Rose was pulled out of her room? One of the things I just never quite figured out. So yeah, spoiler alert, I'm sorry, that's how Glinda and Elphaba became roommates. Is because Madame Morrible took Nessa Rose to go stay with her for whatever reason. Okay, now I just got to get these stitched. Sewing with Luane says maybe they will explain why there's no Witch of the South. There was in the Dorothy book, if I remember correctly. It's been a few bit. Stephanie says she wants to see the movie, but after seeing the OGs on Broadway, she's a little skeptical. I've seen Wicked at the Fabulous Fox here in Atlanta. I have not gotten to see it on Broadway, but yeah, there's things that I'm kind of skeptical about with the whole idea of doing the movie, only because I've seen them partly ruin different movies by musicalizing them. We had, Flat Russell Crowe in Les Mis. There was a lot, like Rent. It was great to see the OG folks back in it, but after it was almost 20 years or 10 years, after almost 10 years, they did not look the part. So when you have somebody, yeah, it just didn't quite work. Sewing with Wayne says, still say Glinda was mean for not telling Dorothy she could have gone home at any time. Yeah, if you go watch some of the YouTube videos, there's a whole conspiracy theory that Glinda is actually the evil one because she ends up basically using Dorothy to she used Dorothy's house to take out the Witch of the East, and she sends Dorothy on a quest that essentially exposes the wizard, and basically in the end it leaves her as the one with power in the land of Oz. So it was a whole basically conspiracy theory that, is Glinda really the bad guy? Good morning, Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, Laura Lynn. She's saying this is where all the cool kids are hanging out. And good morning, Debt Free Quilter. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Got to figure out which direction I'm going to press these little pieces. Because I don't think there's any pressing directions in this block. Which is fine. I'll press it how I want it. Because now that I have all the half square triangles done, it's time for unit piecing. So swapping my foot with my 1/4-inch foot. Elaine says that they saw Wicked on Broadway with the first company, Adele Dazeem, Kristen Chenoweth, and read the entire Wicked series by Gregory Maguire. And in the glassblowing class made a green and black Elphaba pumpkin. That is pretty cool. And yes, I know I said Adele Dazeem because I'm crazy that way. Okay, let me press these open. I wish I was able to say, you know, I saw original cast of anything, but I haven't had that luxury yet. I do love to get to see a show anytime that I am in New York. I'm kind of hoping that there's a time that I go up and visit my sister and something really good is playing locally and we can go, you know, experience a show together. I think she's going to be going seeing Wicked soon. Okay. Set you aside so I can lay out what this block is going to be so I can figure out which way to press these. So the block is this way. Point a pair of these inwards. And the color picture says the pink is going inwards. And in order to get these two to nest, I want them to go to the green. Okay. The Siberian Wind says, "Oh, look, Laura Lynn just called me a cool person. A cool kid." Sewing Lorraine asks if anybody is excited about the Downton Abbey movie. There's a Downton Abbey movie. I have never watched an episode of Downton Abbey. If that means I'm not a cool kid, then I'm not a cool kid. If that means I'm like crazy, then I'm crazy. It just, that was something that never, I guess the whole premise doesn't particularly excite me. Same thing with like the Crown, as Laura Lynn just said. She loves the music from Downton Abbey and the Crown. My sister, though, is very much a royal. She celebrated the Queen's Jubilee. She took the day off for the Queen's funeral. So, and for whatever reasons she has, she's not a fan of Philip. I'm just sewing these in pairs, nesting all the seams that I can get to nest. I had one of my triangles backwards. I'm glad it felt wrong before I started sewing. And then these units, so I can continue chain piecing, the star points inward like this, and it has these underneath. Luane asks if we saw the unveiling of King Charles. I'm sorry, why did I say Philip? It's Charles. I see. That's how bad I don't even know the royal stuff. So no, I did not see the unveiling of any portraits. That said, I kind of wish 6 was around when I was a kid, when I had to know, the wives of Henry VIII. Because then I would have been able to know that they were divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. Not that I know the names of any of them. Because I still have, I have bad memory with names. But I at least would have been able to tell in the order in which, they were no longer part of Henry's wedlock. Not that I probably would have been listening to musicals when I was learning about that, but still, a boy could have hoped. Good morning, Jackie. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So since I have these pieced in pairs, they automatically will match up. This piece is going to want to go this way anyway because it's only got one piece on it. So I want to press this one to go this way. And now I'm hoping that all my pieces go together fine. So they will press like that. And I have a feeling I'm not going to get perfect nesting. If I had sewn them all properly in their end orientation, I could have done a little bit better with trying to make sure I got things to nest properly. But even then, I don't think it would have been perfect. Sometimes nesting is just a suggestion. But once I have these pieces put together, I will have everything to put together the 9 patch. I'm going to trim the stitch that's holding them together. That's how I did. Okay. I was trying to figure out how I ran those two, that one through the machine, so I knew I was doing it right. Because as long as you repeat what you do, number one, if you do it right the first time, all of them are going to be right. If you do it wrong the first time, all of them are going to be wrong. I've done that before. Luckily, it was only like 58 pieces that I had to unsew. And believe me, I was really pondering leaving it the sewn wrong, but it would not have made a pattern that I would have liked. It would have made a pattern. It just wouldn't have gone the way that I wanted it to. So I was like, I'll just rip them all out. Luane says, who knows who would be sitting on the throne if Henry's unwed children had been allowed access to the throne? Yes. I mean, there's a lot with the way that the throne gets passed down and around that is very confusing to me. And I'm like, really? But then again, you know, it's apparently uncommon for somebody to have the throne for, 70 something, 80 years that Elizabeth II had it. Because frankly, most people never lived that long in the past. Okay, let's see how bad my um yeah, I'm gonna have all kinds of bad because this is pointing downwards because that's the easiest way. So I can make this one go upwards. I could also make it twist. And if I make this one go upwards, and this one, these two are going to have the seam going the same direction. And I can't move the seam now. And if I talk about over here, these two are going downwards, but this one will go upwards. So every other, like there's no easy way for me to have gotten these to seam properly unless I had laid them out and thought earlier. I'm not going to worry about it. As someone once told me, a long arm can go through a lot. So yes, Laura Lynn, pretty happy fabric. No, I knew I was doing this one wrong. I can put that there. That one there. That one there. And one more. And that piece in the center. Good morning, Beverly, who says, hey, Russ and everyone. So this is how it's going to be laid out. I will pull these off and just focus on this row first. And then when I get all these pieces together, I'll have my Saturday sampler block done a month before it needs to be shown. Which I do not mind having my Saturday sampler block done early. It means if I was crazy, I can go first Saturday of the month. But I choose not to be that crazy because first Saturday is always jam-packed, which is why I go third Saturday. I would rather wait another 2 weeks in order to get my fabrics versus dealing with all of those people. Okay. I want to press that. That's too much bulk. So I'm going to press the top row inward and then the middle row outward. Which means the bottom row goes inward again. And it's just because of the amount of bulk that's in this seam right here and this seam right here. It wants to go this way more. Then I'll put the other pieces on. I just flipped it in transit, so that's why everything is still going on the same direction. Amy says that she agrees that third Saturday was less crowded. Hoping to start back Saturday Sampler again. Yes, I'm sure everybody misses seeing you. Amy is another one of the people who lives somewhere close to me. Because she goes to Saturday Sampler at the same quilt shop that I do. I have seen many photos of her show and tell, and they're gorgeous stuff. Because the quilt shop does show and tell, or they call it Quilt Show Sunday on the Facebook. They take everything that was shown in Saturday Sampler and push it across a handful of posts on Facebook. And they also get put into the digital photo frame at the cash register. And if I don't see myself in the digital photo frame when I'm checking out, I get offended. Just because of the sheer quantity of show and tells that I've had. Okay, these are going out and this one's going in. Let me do a quick pressification. I just realized I forgot to ask what everybody else has been working on today. So what is folks working on? Are folks working on? Good thing Steven didn't hear me say that. He'd probably like whack my hand with a ruler. And since he's a Canadian, it would be a meter stick. Amy says she feels awkward when she sees herself. Why? You have some awesome stuff. I almost should suggest that, we get a discount if we see ourselves in the frame, but I'd probably be the only one who ever gets discounts. Stephanie is working on coffee and cleaning. Coffee is more important than cleaning. And she's going to be working on her large carnival puzzle mystery quilt later today. I need to get mine done. I had hopes of getting my stuff worked on for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt this week while I was off, but other things decided that they wanted to get in the way. Because I really want to see how my quilt is going to finish up. My sister would like to see hers too, but she's not going to be able to. I'm not going to let her see it until probably Christmas. Stephanie says, bring it to the Zoom tonight. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the Zoom tonight because my favorite pizza place is closing. And I need to go and order a couple pies. Because if I don't get a decent supply of my favorite pie, and I know it freezes pretty well, then I don't know how I'm going to survive. Amy is working on hanging sleeves. I need to get my hanging sleeves done because, yes, I will be at Georgia Celebrates Quilt Show. I have a quilt that's going in it, Amy. I am so excited about that. It's not a quilt that was made for a show, which is why I've got to get the hanging sleeve on. But it's a quilt that, you know, I just got peer pressured by a friend to enter the show, enter a quilt into the show. Alrighty. Let's see how this wants to press. Tamala is heading out to a local craft show with her daughter. That sounds fun. Okay, I'm going to press these inward because that's what most everything wants to do. And let's see that camera. I have a finished block. This looks so fun. Over here is the first month's block. I don't have last month's because it's sitting in the other room. I didn't bring it in here. But we are now a quarter of the way through, and I can now see the block up on the screen, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks gorgeous in person. But I am, just like I said, so excited about this. Probably going to throw it underneath a clapper just because some of these seams are a little what's the word? Annoying. I'm seeing that folks love the block. Again, I can't take credit for the block. I can't take credit for the fabric. I can just take credit for the piecing of this. This is, like I said earlier, it's a Saturday sampler program with the local quilt shop. As a reminder, I do have link to a similar pattern. Yes, Stephanie, I need to be using magic juice more. I just keep forgetting it's not part of my muscle memory yet. Um, you're probably going to take your own ruler and smack me at the retreat every time I don't use magic juice. We should do that. No, I'd have bloody hands and no blood on the quilt. So yeah, there's a similar pattern to this in the description below if you want to do your own version of this. And like I said, all of these lives that I'm doing for Saturday's Sampler are going to be in a playlist. And if you want to go back and join any of those in the past, you are welcome to. They are usually simple sews. This one was a simple sew as well. And it took about an hour plus a little bit of cutting time. So you can easily do this if you want to join in with me. Like I said, you're just going to get the best instructions that I can find that the internet does. Stephanie says she's not mean enough for that, but Steven probably would. Steven definitely would, and he'd use a meter stick because, like I said, he's Canadian. They don't have yardsticks up there. So with that, I am going to start jetting out of here. I need to see if a post office is still open to get a couple packages out and run a couple errands. Probably run to the Walmart or run to a couple other places, and then hopefully get a few chores done to this later today. And like I said, my favorite pizza place is closing, so I got to go order a couple pies and find room in the freezer to freeze them. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and an